Exclusive interview with Mr. Dressup. Exclusive interview with Mr. Dressup. Exclusive.
Hello, how are you?
Mr.
I'm fine.
Dressup. Exclusive interview with Mr. Dressup.
Sit down, make yourself comfortable.
You're listening to Frank Talks Pleasures and Lifestyles, and I'm Frank because I have to be. Today's show, we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to abandon our regular Frank Talks format and present an interview that was done even before this show existed. It's an interview I did with Mr. Ernie Coombs, known to Canada as Mr. Dressup. At the time, I was a graduate student in the communications department of McGill University, and as part of my thesis, I got to meet with and interview Ernie Coombs. I'm going to read you now the dedication page of my thesis. This study is dedicated to the late Ernie Coombs, also known to Canadians as the character Mr. Dressup, who on August 13, 2001, granted me what became his last recorded interview just 4 short weeks prior to his final departure that year. His untimely passing has left a great emptiness for those of us who grew up learning from him, and for those of us who got to meet with him, even if only for a brief time. Ernie Coombs had a way of touching people of all ages, deep inside each of us, in that special place where we cherish our most pleasant memories. That place of new possibilities, new learning experiences, that place where we find our connection with the people and world around us. His gift of being able to magically connect with everyone who knew him, or of him, was also the lesson he taught others to share with one another. When looking to achieve greatness in children's television, it is Mr. Dressup that has set the standard to strive for. This study is dedicated to his legacy, and for anybody who ever set out to achieve a big fat idea. As I just read to you, this is his last official recorded interview, and we're going to present segments from that interview that won't have a very linear flow to it. I only included elements here that I thought would be of interest to listeners, as many of the questions were related to my thesis topic at the time. Nonetheless, I thought that a tribute show to Ernie Coombs, Mr. Dressup, would be the right thing to do. Let's go to that interview now.
So I'm going to read you the question here. What influence does a performer have in the character he plays? And should a performer of a character be considered a part creator in that character, as opposed to just an actor who's interpreting a writer's work?
Well, I think an actor has a great deal to do with the character. Otherwise, you could take, you wouldn't even have to have auditions. Just take any actor and say, okay, here's the script, and you be this thing. One actor can perform a character better or worse than another actor, and it's due to what the actor has put into the role himself. I don't think there's any question that a character that's created by a certain actor, even if the part is totally scripted, the character is, to a great extent, the creation of the actor who's playing it. And especially in my case, since part of what we did was ad lib, we'd follow a script, but I was being myself, Ernie Coombs, Mr. Dressup, and there would be no doubt about it. So,
you ad-libbed?
Yeah. The scripts were written out in regular script form, but I couldn't remember doing 2 shows a day. I couldn't remember all that dialogue anyway, so we just worked with the situation and follow the dialogue as closely as possible. But it was an awful lot of it was just off the tops of our heads.
Wow. And do you think that an actor should be considered a part creator of a character?
Oh yeah, and especially on a long-running show like Cheers. I mean, those 2 guys became became the characters they were portraying. And I think there's no doubt about it that they partially own the characters, or in a moral sense, they own the characters.
In comparison to yourself, who you've been Mr. Dressup now for over 30 years, the Cheers characters, they've always, George Wendt, John Ratzenberger have always played the Norm and Cliff characters.
Yes.
Do you think that that's very significant in terms of, is it because they've played the same character for so long? Or is it just a matter of when a performer is hired to play a character, immediately in that moment that performer takes on a certain role of creation?
Yeah, I would think it would be very difficult to replace a character. For instance, if we had wanted to replace Casey with another Casey, it would take a long time before that character would come into its own, I should think. Now, I don't know the two examples you gave.
Right.
I don't watch enough television, so I don't remember. Were they principal characters?
Yeah, they were.
Incidental characters?
They were principal characters.
Well, I guess it would work, but because it happens in plays when you get somebody will drop out of the cast and somebody else takes over the part.
Right.
Sometimes it's better or worse, but on a long-running show, as I said, I think that the character is it may be created in the mind of a writer, but the actor brings so much to it that it's something that cannot be. You can describe a character when you're writing a play, but it's the actor puts so much of himself into it that it can't be totally the writer's creation.
Exclusive interview with Mr. Dressup. Exclusive interview with Mr. Dressup. Exclusive
Hello, how are you?
with Mr.
I'm fine.
Dressup. Exclusive interview with Mr. Dressup.
Sit down, make yourself comfortable. Let's begin, shall we? First of all, do you live on the set, or do you have your own house that you go to after work? Is there a Mrs. Dressup? Was your father also in the dressing up business? Do you plan on writing a book about your life? And if so, which publishing company would you approach? Do you drive to work? Do you whistle the theme to the show as you drive? Do you get the jitters before every show? I mean, the pressure must be enormous.
Exclusive interview with Mr. Dressup. Exclusive interview with Mr. Dressup.
What's the deal with Casey? I mean, what the hell is that thing anyways? Is it a boy or a girl or what? If it's a boy, then why the high voice and the girlish haircut, not to mention the extremely pink cheeks? And Casey lives in a treehouse with a dog. Is that healthy? What's your social insurance number? Do you play croquet? Does anybody? Why do you hang out with puppets all day anyways? I mean, do you ever socialize with humans at all? Like, did you ever go out for a beer with the friendly giant after the show?
Exclusive interview with Mr. Dressup. Exclusive interview with Mr. Dressup.
When you get dressed in the morning, do you feel like you're at work? Have you ever been to Marineland? You want some more coffee, Mr. Dressup? What's the difference between an alligator and a crocodile? Have you ever considered contact lenses? Is there a god? I mean, what's it all about, Mr. Dressup? Is there any point to it all? Have you ever met David Bowie? Ever try one of those pizza pocket things there? Are they any good? Have you ever killed a man?
Exclusive interview.
Don't worry, this is off the record.
Mr. Dressup. Exclusive interview with Mr. Dressup.
Okay, well, thanks a lot for coming. I think I got everything I need here. This should be really good. See ya. Oh, don't worry about the vase, really. It was broken already. No, don't worry about it. Get out of here, you crazy guy.